Wow. Awesome. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Give me
Hello, hello, hello.
come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I was trying to play with all these little features down here. I tell you, I love this platform because I learn so much each time that I work with it and from it. But at any rate, welcome, 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 Vera. Finally got you on my
Yes, yes. Thank you.
platform. Come on,
Honored to be
look at
here.
me. Awesome, awesome. First thing I like to do is welcome everyone, those of you who are here at this current time. Thank you for joining us, as well as, and we're going to look at your comment in a minute. And those of you who will be watching this, the video, the replay later, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we do hope that we can leave you some valuable information that will stir you, inspire you to get up, suit up, and show up, because that's what it's going to take for us to make it in this entrepreneur arena. So with that, I've welcomed everybody to the platform. I am Dr. Patricia Rogers, and my role as an entrepreneur is that I am a best-selling author. I am also a two-time winning public speaker. I'm a virtual event host, and our team sets up a platform so that entrepreneurs like you can speak while we fill those seats, because that's where the work comes in at. We assist you in promoting your products and services at the quarterly events that we host. Now, if you are an attendee at our events, you will make new connections. You're going to receive emails that we hope that you would download to your email list. You're going to be able to promote your product and services. And if you are interested in another service that we offer, in obtaining the Honorary Doctorate of Humanity Award for the services that you've already done, then we want you to reach out to us and we can assist you. I am the liaison for Theophany University in Haiti, and I would love to give you more information. You can reach out to me at patrogers360.com. That's patrogers360.com. Would love to have a conversation on any of the services that we could provide for you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to introduce you. First of all, we want to welcome our guests. We want
Hello.
to welcome our guests to the platform, and that's none other than Miss Rita. I'm sorry, Miss Vera Thomas. Vera Thomas. So come on,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, give us some info.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome. And right now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to play her bio so that you can learn more about who she is and what her vision is for her role as an entrepreneur. Vera Thomas has worked with individuals, companies, nonprofit organizations, schools, and churches to engage youth and adults. Vera is available for companies who want to transform their teams or families and their lives. Vera Thomas is a life coach, international speaker, trainer, mediator, poet, 20-time best-selling author, and producer of a weekly podcast radio show, The Vera Thomas Show. I introduce you to Vera Thomas. Woo! Come on, come on,
Thank
come
you.
on,
Thank
come
you.
on,
Thank you
come
for
on,
such a
come on.
wonderful
Awesome.
introduction. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started. It looks like I have some. Oh, there we have some comments. Let me check on our comments first, and then we're
That's
going to
from
get started.
Nigeria. Let me tell you. He is from Nigeria. Yes. Pray, 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 prophet. Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you.
Joshua. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And again, I pray God take control. God took control before I went to bed last night, but I thank you so much for that every day. And I'm glad you said that, Bishop Joseph Joshua, because you know what? We can't just depend on God when we're under pressure. We got to depend on God 24/7. Because
Absolutely.
when we do that, when the pressure comes, we ain't got it's already done. It was done before we was born. Y'all agree with that?
Amen.
Come on, come
Amen.
on, come
Amen.
on.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
But we want to say thank you so much for joining us. And our first question to Miss Vera Thomas, who I finally have gotten on my show. The spotlight's on you. So welcome, welcome, welcome,
Thank you.
welcome,
Thank you. Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you.
And our first question to Miss Vera Thomas is going to be, how did you discover your passion?
You know, I'm so glad you asked that question because growing up, I had no confidence, no self esteem. I was bullied and ridiculed and made fun of and told things like, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're fat, you're ugly, you're nothing, you'll never be anything. And so I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know my passion. I remember crying and asking God, why was I born? What is my purpose? And then, as in my early 20s, I happened to go to a 3 day seminar, and the facilitator was so enthusiastic and bubbly, and something just touched me in my stomach. It's like I just felt it. And I went up to her and it's like, I want to do what you do. And she became my mentor. And from that point on, I started doing training programs and speaking and things of that nature. And it was when I did my first session with a group of kids. And a week later, I get all these letters from these kids telling about their experience with the work that I did with them. And I knew then, this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I knew at that point in time, in working with youth, and but also going on and working with companies and organizations and schools and churches and adults, I knew I did not want any child to ever feel like I felt growing up and being told those negative things. And so that's one of the reasons. It's not only my purpose, but it's also my passion. My passion is to help transform lives, whether it's at work, whether it's in the home, whether it's just individuals, to transform lives. That is my purpose, to uplift, encourage, motivate, inspire, and educate. That is my purpose. That is also my passion.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. I love the energy that you brought with that question, because yes, our passion should move us. It should excite us. And when we have excitement in our own voices, when we're promoting whatever it is that we are doing, whatever it is that we're sharing with others, then of course that inspires them to want to what we have. So that's awesome, awesome, awesome. And I heard you mention the word children. So can you tell me, how is it that children play a role in what you do? I know you're passionate about serving and teaching. What exactly is it that you teach? And I heard children. So is children your target market?
It's
I'm not
not
sure about that.
Okay, children are not, it's not just my target market. I started developing programs for kids working in school systems, and these programs were like 4, 6, and 8 week programs. And one is a poetry and vision program where kids can write and express how they feel about different things that are going on in their lives. They can either write short stories, songs, poems, or raps. And then I also have a anti-bullying program, Using My Power, and a self-esteem program, My Greatness, and an all-school assembly called I Believe in Me. But what was happening is I was doing all these programs with these kids and trying to help build their confidence and self-esteem. And because it was an extended program, they were coming back to me, and what I was trying to instill in them, they were not getting it at home. And so I knew that I needed to focus also on the parent. And so I've developed programs for parents, instilling greatness in myself and my children. I also had several opportunities to go into companies because my master's is in organizational management. And so I've gone into companies and done team building, conflict resolution, communication skills, and all these different things within companies as well. You know, my career spans across 40 years. And so within that 40-year period of time, I've done a lot of things at different times. And so working with youth, working with parents, working with companies, I'm very proficient in all of those things. And so this workshop that I have coming up.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, please.
Okay.
You talked about the children, okay, and how you worked in the, I guess this would be your the corporate arena. Sounds to me. Am I correct?
Yes, I've done
And
that
of course,
too.
you're right. I understand you have so many different roles, and which really is great because it all prepares us for where we are today. And then the parents and different ones. And it's all about, like you said earlier, Vera, it is. I agree with you 100%. It's all about serving. And what do I have that I can serve others with? What is
Yeah.
it that I have in my own intellectual properties that I can pull out? And I want to say kudos to corporate America. Come on, let's give corporate America a hand because those jobs that we had along the way definitely prepared us for a day and a time such as this.
Yes.
And so bringing all of that in bringing all of that in and all the service and all the training and all of that, what exactly is it that in your role as an entrepreneur, how have you brought all of that together and how do you serve entrepreneurs? Because we know we all do entrepreneurs. So, yeah, just give me a little bit of feedback on how do you actually serve entrepreneurs? What is it that your focus is? What is it that your don't even it could just be something that you already because we have so much stuff always on the pot. Just give us a little bit about your role as an entrepreneur. What do you do to serve? What is your goal to serve? Whatever and however you want to lay it out there for our listeners.
Okay. Well, in terms of serving, what I
Entrepreneurs,
in terms of serving entrepreneurs,
yes.
it is very communications is key. And so many times as entrepreneurs, we don't recognize that it's not so much what we say, but how we say it that can make all the difference in our relationships in corporate and as entrepreneurs, dealing with conflict, dealing with misconceived behaviors that are in the workplace as well as in our homes. And so, this workshop that I have coming is particularly for entrepreneurs as well as for families because
Awesome.
these attitudes and behaviors are in both places. And I have examples of how in the workplace these misconceived behaviors have impact and caused such toxicity within the environment, and me being able to go in and say, okay, we need to address this, and empowering employees to allow them to address the issues that were happening with coworkers, which enabled them to feel empowered, but also enabled them to address issues from an evidential and factual base rather than from an emotional, subjective perspective. That's what I do for entrepreneurs.
Okay, so because you keep bringing up the corporate arena, and I don't want to. I want to make sure I'm on course. You keep bringing up the corporate arena. You keep bringing up the workplace. So I like that title, misconceived behaviors. That's an awesome title. And I know you're right. It can apply to both entrepreneur and people in the corporate arena. I want to know because our listening audience is maybe more. But you may have both. I'm sure. But let's do the misconceived behaviors for entrepreneurs. I want you to tap into that for me.
Sure, I can do that. First, one of the behaviors in the workplace as on that entrepreneurs, if they have coworkers or if they have employees that they're working with, there are several misconceived behaviors that impact on performance, productivity, and one's attitude and behavior in the workplace. One of them is not dealing with conflict. I was in a company where we did the assessment for how do I handle conflict. And almost every single person in that work environment avoided conflict like the plague. But in so
Okay, so then
doing,
I'm gonna bring it in. So then, because like I said, you keep saying the workplace, and I want these entrepreneurs to get the message. See, when you say workplace, that kind of leaves the entrepreneur out. I want to talk about the entrepreneur because the entrepreneurs have conflict. Entrepreneurs need to know and hear this because you're right. When we hire people, that's my experience based on what you're saying. When I
mhm,
hire people to do a job,
mhm,
and people say often in entrepreneur arena what they can do, and then when you hire them, they don't do it. And that is one of the things that I wanted to share based on what you're saying about conflict that can cause conflict.
And
And these entrepreneurs have to know how to manage that stuff. But I just want to
right.
throw that in
And
my own experience because you stirred my pot. Go ahead.
okay, well, as an entrepreneur, again, sometimes we have to look at both sides of the coin. A lot of times, because of how we may be coming across, it may impact on one's ability to perform. And I know, I mean, that can happen. I worked in a with a there was an entrepreneur, a small family owned business that impacted so greatly on the whole environment because of the entrepreneurs need to look at what is my leadership style? How do I come across? Am I autocratic, democratic, authoritarian? What type of leader am I as an entrepreneur? Because
Absolutely.
that particular leadership style permeates all aspects of being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. But let me ask you this, and I like that because I took those topics as well. And not only just in corporate America, but that still stands today, because we all do have separate leadership of skills,
Right.
abilities. But I'm just saying, but sometimes we have to also, as entrepreneurs, in my own opinion, know that it's just like knowing people's personality traits. We can't all entrepreneurs cannot connect with all entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
We
Just
have to
like
target those people, just like the people that buy from us or that we target to purchase. We have to also target the people that will work with us because a good entrepreneur, a good leader knows their triggers. So if you know your trigger, like you're saying, so when you talk about behaviors, I love that word behaviors. I call them disciplines. When we know our triggers, then sometimes we have to realize that particular team, in our case, is entrepreneurs, because in the workplace you're forced to work with those people because you're getting a check. But in this entrepreneur arena, I'm not forced to work with anybody that's going to stress me out or lead me to believe one thing, and then when I work with them I find out something else, and then there's no reason really to take things personal, because we all have choices as entrepreneurs and we're all trying to get from point A to point B. So we have to get with the best fit for us, that will fit our personalities or your personality, you know what I'm saying, as leaders, influencers, so that we can continue to move forward. Does that make sense?
one of the things that I encourage when in the process of choosing people that we are going to be working with is to understand their personality styles and see how congruent those styles are with us. In my opinion, there should be set questions that are behavior oriented type questions that would enable an entrepreneur to better understand how a person they want to work with is going to handle different situations and scenarios. And it's best to get those things out front than be behind the scenes or after the fact. I had an entrepreneurial company hire me to do just that. They needed to hire a manager.
Let me
And
stop you and get this question right here, because these things have been sitting here for a minute.
okay,
Hold that thought, because we got some people that's saying this is a hot topic, because you got me going. I thought this was going to be a 25-minute session, but you got me fired up over here. I'm going to let you know that now. When you talk about behaviors of entrepreneurs, because I'm done with the workplace. This is a whole different arena now. But she says, Dr. LaWanda says she's going to be getting her doctorate, honorary doctorate. Let's give her some energy, because I keep calling her
amen.
doctor.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
Dr. LaWanda Barefoot says entrepreneurs may face conflict with employees, those in their supply chain,
Stay
stakeholders, and even conflict when it comes to handling customer engagement complaints. There we
absolutely.
go. Perfect.
Absolutely. And knowing all of those things, first we must understand ourselves. Understand, just like you mentioned, triggers. You talked about triggers. We need to understand what our triggers are and also understand how we are in control over how we respond, relate, and react to each one of these areas, the chain, the stakeholders, all of that. Communications is key. And being able to communicate from an objective perspective. So oftentimes we put ourselves into the situation. We make it a feeling kind of thing when it's not about feelings, it's about facts and it's about evidence and being able to support whatever decisions you make on those things, facts and evidence, not being subjective, not allowing our feelings to fall into play, but understanding facts and evidence.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see you got fired up a little bit on that one yourself. Thank you, Miss Lawana. Thank you, Lawana. Lawana has a platform too. She'll probably be having you on her platform at some point. So this is why we have to show up. And me and you almost didn't do this video today because we was challenged. But you know what? We overcame the challenge. Yeah. We got to be resilient and press through. And I'm glad we did. Because again, like I said, she has a platform and you never know what the next stop might be.
Right. And so, I like this statement here. Cheryl Mays. She says most times employees.
Wait. Where are you at? Because I'm looking at the one on the screen. Where are you?
Well, I'm looking at the one that's in the comments. I'm sorry.
Stay with me.
Okay, right.
This is my platform. This is not TV Thomas. Right. I'm just kidding with you.
No, you're not.
I'm just kidding with you.
No, you're not. Go ahead.
This is not the Vera Thomas show.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
Yeah, and Lawana, Vera might be having you on her TV show. This is what it's all about, networking. Oh my God, that was funny. Miss Gail Dixon is the woman, both her and Lawana are in my organization that I'm in, WPN. You hear that word a lot though from me. And thank you, Gail, for jumping in. Gail says, right, Patricia, a good leader knows their triggers. And that is definitely what we was just talking about. You got to know yourself. And when we know ourselves, you said it very well, Vera. You said when we know ourselves, then we can control ourselves, basically.
Right, exactly.
And that's a very true fact.
Exactly.
And yeah, so then Lawana says, I totally agree, Gail. Yep. And then Miss Cheryl Mays stopped in. I met Cheryl in Paris. How you doing, Miss Mays? Give us some energy. Come on. She stopped in. Come on, give us some energy. And she says most employees don't set boundaries that can prevent conflict. And I think Cheryl also deals with customer service as well. But yeah, so you want to address that right quick?
I really do. Most employees don't set boundaries that can prevent conflict. Absolutely. Employees, you're saying the employees don't set boundaries. I agree with that. Employees need to help their coworkers understand the boundaries that they set in order to be productive in their workplace. But employers also need to set boundaries and enable their employees to operate from a perspective of confidence and security without feeling like they're being micromanaged or that feeling like they can't do because the employer may be, their leadership style is not allowing them to do that. Setting boundaries is critical in all environments, personally, in the workplace, in the family, in relationships. Boundaries are critical.
Awesome.
And not only setting boundaries, but maintaining them and sticking to them. Because so oftentimes we set the boundaries, but then something happens and we let them kind of go by the wayside. No, a boundary, there's a difference between boundaries and guidelines. And being able
thank
to
you
understand.
so much. We're going to go for a quick commercial break because I see you fired up. Give yourself some energy. Come on. Throw your hands in the air like you don't care, Miss Vera. Come on. Give me some energy, Miss Vera. It's about 25 after. Let me do a quick commercial and we're going to come back to some of these other questions. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Don't go away. We're going to address those questions shortly. We're going to show a brief commercial about our upcoming event. Okay, okay, okay. Come on, come on, come on. Give you some energy. Give yourself some energy. Come on, come on, come on.
We
I'm
can't
trying to
see
bring us back
you.
on the platform, and I hate that. I want to move that. Remove from studio. Okay,
Okay,
we're
there
back.
we
Yeah,
are.
I just had to play with the buttons a little bit. Yeah, girl, there's so many little features on here. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was good. You got stuff going on. I'm gonna jump right back into these questions, ladies and gentlemen. You'll hear more about the event later, but that was just a little synopsis. Everything I do is about practice, and we haven't even started promoting that event yet. But I created that video myself, and I said I'm gonna use that for a commercial today. Woo, woo,
And you did a good job.
yeah, so I'm just playing. I'm playing, y'all. I'm having fun. Now let's go back to Miss Mays. Miss Mays says most time employees don't set boundaries. Okay, we did that. Then Dr. Luana came in and said emotions can trip you up in business. Facts and stacks are key. Would you like to hit on that for a minute?
Absolutely. I can't impress enough. I remember having to write a document, and there was so much emotion that I had to write it over and over and over and over again until I could extrapolate all that subjective stuff and just talk about the facts. Talk about the facts. That is especially in business, and when you're dealing with business as an entrepreneur, and you're dealing with business, you're dealing with contracts, you're dealing with all kinds of things that has to do with your business. You can't come with, oh, I feel, oh, only if. No, it's about facts and evidence.
Awesome,
With
awesome,
and not
awesome,
only, and when I say that, don't
awesome,
just throw out a fact, but get support, lend support to that fact.
awesome.
And also in relationships, in
Supporting
relationships,
documents is very essential too.
or
We
even, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a supporting document. If it's about relationships, it may not be a piece of paper, but it may be an example of a time when it happened. And
right.
and which is that supporting evidence.
Right. Well,
Okay.
that's basically, you're right. And that's exactly what I was saying. You got to be able to back up anything that you put out there, back it up as proof, because that's what people need to know and
Absolutely.
hear. And they,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the next question is, the next statement that Luana says is setting standards, guidelines, and expectations are the responsibility of the employee in order to shape a culture of respect, belonging, and maximum performance. In order to
Absolutely.
shape a culture of respect, make them feel belong like they belong, and maximum, and that way we will get the maximum performance. And that's what I'm getting out of that. Could you give we running out of time? I want you to hit
Okay.
that for about 1 minute.
Okay, well,
I
first of
got
all,
more
the
questions.
leader sets the tone, the leader sets the culture. And when we look at the culture, it's based on leadership. And there are basic, what type of culture are you setting as the leader? And actually your supply chain, your customers, they can walk in and feel the kind of culture that's in the atmosphere.
I absolutely agree with that 100%. Thank you so much. And then our next statement is coming from Cheryl Mays. Again, Cheryl, thank you for stopping in. Met her in Paris. She's another two-time winning, three-time winning, all those winning speakers. And she says, absolutely. And you must defend your boundaries and let people know what they are. Great conversation. And I
Absolutely.
certainly agree with that. And I'm going to say this to our listening audience, to everybody, that I agree with that 100%. I agree with everything that has been said. And I know you said that sometimes we have to monitor us, but we are not responsible. I'm just saying people, I say we, let's talk about the leaders. Leaders are not responsible for employees' behavior. There are, like you said, rules in place. And if those employees violate those rules, then guess what? Rules are written in place that will assist the leaders in giving, I'm going in, disciplinary actions that will correct the negative behavior. So when we're involved, whether it's on the workplace, whether it's as an entrepreneur, whatever we are doing in life, we have to want to, first of all, do it with a passion. And I always say, to me, for me, I always say, if I follow the rules, my supervisor will never have no problem out of me.
But also, we have to take into consideration there are some people who do not follow rules very well. and probably should not even be in that work environment. They should be probably doing their own thing, because not every that's why I said it's important to look at personality types. There are certain personalities, no matter how hard you try to get them to do what needs to be done, if it's not in them, they're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And also, you have to look at. I remember there being a situation where she talked about the lead. You said the leader is not responsible for the actions or the behaviors of their employees. However, they can hold those employees accountable for
Right.
those actions and
That's what
those
yeah,
behaviors.
I agree.
And co-workers can do the same.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. And this subject can go on and on and on, but we're getting out to the end of the
Yeah,
hour. We already over 25 minutes, but it's been good. We can do what we want to do because we're entrepreneurs in my role. We can carry it out if we want to another
and
two
you know
hours.
what?
But I got another call coming up. So I'm going, and I know you will go on and on.
But you know what? This is so amazing to me, because this was not what I thought we would be talking about.
Well, I took
You
you into the
know,
misconceived behaviors,
yes,
and that's
yes,
where it took us. So it is
yes,
what it is.
yes,
I think it is.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but you
yes.
still on
This
them
is
misconceived behaviors. Yeah. And then
the,
I want to read what Miss Gail Dixon has here. She says, I agree, because this is the last one before we close. And she says, I agree, Vera. We are all responsible for setting and communicating boundaries that enable us to have the best possible relationships in any given situation. And I
amen.
love that, Gail. Thank you so much,
Amen.
Gail.
Amen. I
Because
agree
a lot of times,
wholeheartedly.
when we try
Amen.
to set boundaries, my own experience, and I'm gonna let you close out. My own experience is when I do set boundaries, because a lot of people, I'm going in, ladies, I want y'all to hear what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. When we are in relationship with whomever, whatever, however, but I'm talking about this entrepreneur today for me. And when you don't fail, when you fail to communicate, which is what you said, if you don't tell people who you are, how you are, and your expectations, they're going to do what they expect to do. And what happens as entrepreneurs, because we fail to have that conversation and we fail to say that because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, well, they may not like that, so I'm not going to say that. What happens is now we've served a relationship because we fail to, based on our own insecurities or our own thinking of what we think they going to think. And if they not even, it ain't, but we got to put that information out there. You have to lay it out so people would know, and they have a right to say, okay, I can either meet that or I cannot meet that. But if you don't tell them and you assume, then y'all know what they say about assumptions. So
Right.
communication definitely is key. I agree with you 100%, Vera. But again, as entrepreneurs who have to hire, who have to work with other entrepreneurs, who have to bring people into your space for your business, you have to state the rules. And this is where sometimes contracts come into play. But that contracts, we'll talk about that next month. Go ahead, Pastor Gloria. You can go ahead and close this platform, Vera.
Okay, a couple of things. First of all, if you liked what we talked about here today, then join me for the Misconceived Behaviors workshop
Woo, woo.
that I'm doing on June 3rd. You can go to LinkedIn and sign up, or you can sign up on the event page on Facebook. There will be an Eventbrite link for you to sign up in, but it's not ready yet. So, anyway, sign up either on LinkedIn or,
You didn't have to say that because there it is right there. Yeah, all
oh,
you got to do is just
okay,
follow. Yeah, just there,
okay,
there it is. All
anyway,
right, everybody know about Bitly. Y'all put in that
okay,
Bitly link and go
okay.
ahead and come on out here because we're gonna be working this
Okay. And
with her
then
on this event.
finally, I want to say again, it is very important that we do communicate what our expectations are, what it is that we expect, and all of that. It's important. But again, I must say, it's not always what we say, but how we say it that can make all the difference in the world. And we can still get the same point across. And so I just want to encourage you to, continue as Dr. Patricia does, continue to show love, be encouraged, help others, and be there for one another. As entrepreneurs, that support is so important because we're all alone. And so having that support is so important. So thank you, Dr. Patricia, for this time.
Okay, and I love how what you said, and I'm gonna say this because I've been hearing that all my life. I'm going in. Oh, it's not what you said; it's how you said it. Well, I'm gonna tell you something about that because this is my platform, and I'm gonna get the last word.
Okay.
People don't like the truth. People don't like to be told the truth, and I have to say this because this is what it's about. And a lot of times, when you are an expert in your field, God has already equipped you to see what those employees are capable of doing, because when they're not meeting the demand, or people that you're working with in this entrepreneurial arena, however you want to put it, then you call them out. I need to see you in the office. And I noticed this morning that you didn't do the head count properly. Now that employee left my office mad and go tell everybody I yelled and screamed at them, when in fact I didn't do that. But because of their insecurity, and because they got called on the carpet to reflect the truth, they want to reflect it back to the person who's giving them information. And
Now,
that's their own insecurities. And you can't control a person's insecurities.
no,
But
you
also,
can't.
it goes back to what you said. Documentation kept me on my job 29 years because I work with those kind of people. The truth don't care who tell it, ladies and gentlemen. You just need to tell it. And rather than let a person run in front of a Mack truck, because if I'm not working on a day off in the next 2 days because I'm off, and you got another supervisor out there, that supervisor may not take time to call you in the office. They just going to put that paper on you. So this is a subject we could talk about on and on and on and on. We don't talk about the workplace. Politics in the workplace. But anyway, it was good. It was good. It was good. God is good. But again, I do say the truth don't care who tell it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're working with people, entrepreneurs, because people will go in another direction because you're not receptive. Like you said it earlier, we can't wear our feelings on our shoulder. If that person has information that's going to assist you and help you, you ain't got time to worry about how it's coming out. What you need to do is look in the mirror. I have to look in the mirror and see if what WPN has for me works for me. Because at the end of the day, when they get through telling us what to do at all in weekly sessions, it's up to me whether I do it or not. And the one thing about the difference in being in this arena and in corporate America, they're not going to fight. People are not going to run behind you to see if you did it. They're going to give you that information because they got other people waiting in line to teach. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I enjoyed this session. And you know what? Considering all the drama we went through to have this, I always know when there's conflict before, not conflict, but when there's challenges. Anytime I do something, and you know me and you've been doing this event for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
So we finally got it. But you know what? Anytime there are challenges, before I have to do something, when I push myself the way I did this morning, what I did, I reached out to you. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna, and you know what? It's always going to be a success. So your event that's coming up, keep talking about it. Keep announcing it. Because keep sharing it. And most of all, keep taking every day you take a step towards its attainment. Got that in Women's Prosperity Network too. We read those steps too. You know, the goal that we're trying to achieve, we're going to work until we get toward, we continuously work towards its attainment. And then let God do what he does. But again, prayer without works is dead. We do have to do what we have to do. And I love your energy. I love what you're doing. And again, you know, just do what you got to do. Get that event together and keep sharing it, because people do need to hear that about the different misconceived behaviors, not only in the workplace, but also in our life on a daily basis. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It has really been a true joy. And with that, I look forward to chatting with you soon. Take care.
God bless. Thank you I'm honored that you had me on. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.